Oh my goodness, you won't believe the absolutely explosive drama that's unfolding in the hip-hop world right now. The internet is literally on fire with the most shocking accusations flying back and forth between some of the biggest names in the game. Trust me, you're going to want to sit down for this one.
No, what I'm saying is, let's just say that Meech didn't know about, Tammy was gonna set up Cuffy and the Mexican Suarez or whatever, right?
Right.
But after he's found out, because everybody knows she's an informant now, they're still doing the show with her. They're still dealing with her. She was still on the red carpet for BMF.
Set up by one of his best friends, which is Demetrius Flannery, also known as Big Meech. My dad and Meech have been friends for 30 years plus. I've known Meech my whole life. I look at him like an uncle.
I can't even begin to tell you how intense things are getting. The hip-hop community is in complete shock after 50 Cent, yes, the 50 Cent, just dropped the most jaw-dropping accusation against Black Mafia Family founder Big Meech, calling him a rat. And why? All because Big Meech decided to work with Rick Ross on a Welcome Home concert in Florida. But honey, let me tell you, this drama is just getting started because Big Meech isn't taking these accusations lying down. He fired back with a warning that has everyone holding their breath.
Boss Ricky Rose, the time has come. Meech home. February 13th, get your tickets right now, it's going down.
Now, if you're wondering why this is such a big deal, let me spill all the piping hot tea. You see, 50 Cent and Rick Ross have been mortal enemies for what feels like forever, and 50 is notorious for demanding absolute loyalty from his business partners. So when he found out about Big Meech teaming up with Ross, he completely lost it. But here's where it gets even juicier. Big Meech turned the tables and claimed that the real snitch in this situation is none other than 50 Cent himself. Can you believe it? According to Meech, 50's only crying about this because he's bitter about Meech doing business with his enemy. Let me tell you something about 50 Cent that you might not know. This man takes grudges to a whole new level. When he decides someone's his enemy, it's not just business, it's personal. And now, Big Meech has found himself caught in 50's web of drama. It all exploded when 50 shared this cryptic post with the words, "The truth and nothing but the truth BMF," and mentioned someone named Tammy Cowen. In the caption, he wrote something that sent chills down everyone's spine. "This is going to blow your mind, Doc. You coming soon, the facts are stranger than fiction, boom." Now for those who might not know, and trust me, you need to know this, BMF isn't just any TV show. It's this absolutely incredible crime drama that's been taking over stars since September 26, 2021. The show has been such a massive hit that it's already been renewed for 3 more seasons. Can you believe it? The drama follows the Black Mafia family, and let me tell you, the real story behind it is even more fascinating than what you see on TV. The main character, Big Meech, whose real name is Demetrius Flannery, is actually played by his own son, Demetrius Flannery Jr. Talk about keeping it in the family. Along with his brother Terry, Southwest T. Flannery, played by the absolutely gorgeous Da Vinci, they built this empire from nothing in the streets of Detroit back in the 1980s. These brothers didn't just create a crime family, they created a legacy that would go down in American history. In the 2000s, they got really clever and established BMF Entertainment. On paper, it was supposed to be this legitimate promotion agency and record label for hip-hop music, but between you and me, it was actually a front for something much more sinister, their money laundering operations. Now here's where 50 Cent comes into the picture. Back in July 2019, he announced he was developing this TV series about the Black Mafia family, and his company, G-Unit Films and Television Inc. was going to be one of the production companies. But there's another key player in this drama that you need to know about, Tammy Cowen. Tammy isn't just anybody, she's supposedly Big Meech's best friend and business partner. She even called him her bestie in this interview back in 2014 with Straight from the A. She's been co-producing BMF and even worked on a similar show back in 2012 called BMF, The Rise and Fall of a Hip-Hop Drug Empire. Since 2008, she and Big Meech have been thick as thieves, with Tammy being his right-hand woman in business. But here's where things get really messy. 50's post wasn't just throwing shade, it was hinting at some major secrets about to come out about Tammy Cowen and Big Meech in some tell-all documentary. And just when you thought it couldn't get any more dramatic, 50 took it to another level by posting a picture of a rat with the caption, "I think I'm Big Meech." The shade of it all. He added this mysterious message about how Big Meech's biggest mistake was not keeping his relationship with Tammy Cowen strong, suggesting she's about to expose everything in some documentary.
What about you and Rick Ross?
That is desperation.
at the points that you hear things from him at this point. You know, because if you're looking for someone, it ain't that hard to find me. You know, I'm around. And I'm not used to having an altercation with law enforcement. I'm just not used to saying I'm gonna do something to a correctional officer or to a police officer or anyone who's been under oath that's gonna say with no problem everything that you've said and everything that's happened immediately after. Like, you know this person is sworn in to tell, you know, like, it's not like, oh, you wanna be surprised after he tells everything? Because of what? Because of the line that he said in the song? Yeah.
Do you think he's that crazy?
Huh?
You think he's that crazy?
I don't think he's crazy. I don't even care.
No, but the situation is that crazy like that.
No, it's a correctional officer. It's a correctional officer that is rapping like a dealer. It shows you that's the point in our culture that you can identify with you actually being who you say you are. Doesn't matter. That's the point where if it sounds good, they're fine with it for a short period of time. You can tell it over it now.
Fast forward to 2019 and the drama just kept getting better. 50 showed up at Los Angeles radio station Real 92.3 for an interview with Bootleg Kev and DJ Head, and when Rick Ross came up in conversation, child, let me tell you, 50 did not hold back. He doubled down harder than ever, basically saying Ross means nothing to the music industry and there's absolutely nothing about his career worth respecting.
Jim Jones, Wale.
Prison reform and all of the wrongfully convicted and wrongfully treated people in the prison system.
Now, let me give you some background that makes this whole situation even spicier. Before 50 Cent became the millionaire mogul we all know today, he was just trying to survive in the rough streets of South Jamaica, Queens. After losing his mother at just 8 years old, he had to do what he had to do to survive, selling that white powder when he wasn't at school or the boxing gym. So you can understand why he's got zero tolerance for someone who used to put people like him behind bars. But Rick Ross wasn't about to take this lying down. He jumped on his IG stories and called 50 a hurt hoe. I mean, the audacity. He went on this whole rant telling 50 to stop being in his feelings and quit taking business so personally.
Nigga took a picture with Rick Ross. You like a hoe. Put your back against the wall and just slide down. You already know, car show going down June 7th. Get online right now, get your tickets right now. But for the hustlers, I want y'all to understand you gotta stop making business personal. Get your money. You don't know these don't know you. And for anybody going against Ricky Rose, let me have this. I've been putting my foot up this for the last 15 years. Everything you touch crumble. Why you think Rose on top? We don't take this personal, we get into the motherfucking money. Now, Big Meech, February 13th, that concert gonna be off the motherfucking book. Putting his foot up you and leaving it in your motherfucking intestine. You know what's going down. Car show bigger than ever. Ricky Rose, the biggest.
But here's where the plot thickens like a good gumbo. 50 wasn't just calling Big Meech a rat because of the Rick Ross situation. There were already whispers going around that Big Meech had become a federal informant to get his sentence reduced. You see, the BMF had been untouchable for years, even though law enforcement had been watching them since the early 90s. It wasn't until 2003, when the DEA and FBI joined forces for Operation Motor City Mafia, that things started falling apart. They started by picking off the smaller fish, people like Raphael Smurf, Allison, Jabari Hayes, Dark Harlow Hoskins, and the McCree Lear brothers. These guys either got hit with serious charges or turned informant, wearing wires and spilling all the tea to the feds. This strategy slowly but surely weakened the organization from within, giving the feds a crystal clear picture of how everything worked. By 2005, Operation Motor City Mafia was in full swing, with arrests happening left and right. The feds were seizing millions worth of assets, firearms, and cash from BMF safe houses. That's when they finally got their biggest fish, Big Meech and his brother Terry.
Demetrius Flannery and his brother Terry ran one of the country's largest operations during the late 80s, 90s, and early 2000s. The pair had hundreds of employees, generated hundreds of millions of dollars, and even had a successful record label and magazine. But in 2006, the brothers were indicted in a federal RICO case originating out of Georgia.
BMF was the first group that was accused of being both a criminal organization and a record label.
Attorney Josh Schiffers says Demetrius, also known as Big Meech, is highly regarded because he never took a deal or snitched on his co-conspirators.
And he went down. And when he went down, he and his brother were sentenced to 30 years in prison.
The charges against them were no joke. We're talking conspiracy to distribute over 5 kilos of white, possession with intent to distribute more than 500 G, conspiracy to launder monetary instruments, and 2 counts of possession with intent to distribute more than 5 kilos. Big Meech maintained his innocence throughout the 2008 trial, but the evidence was just too overwhelming. He got slapped with a 30-year sentence. But here's where things get really interesting. In October 2024, out of nowhere, it was announced that Big Meech was getting released to a residential re-entry program in Miami. His official release date was set for August 17, 2025. Now everyone was happy for him, but people couldn't help but wonder, how did he manage to get out so much earlier than he should have? That's when the whispers started that he must have cut some kind of deal, probably becoming an informant himself. And who helped him get this deal? None other than his bestie, Tammy Cowen. Here's a juicy little detail for you. Tammy actually owns the rights to Big Meech's life story. He sold them to her. But wait, it gets better. Tammy Cowen is known for being a government informant herself.
I get down to my probation officer, my son in the car, said, if I don't come out in a couple of hours, call the lawyer. I get in there, Tammy Cowen is a government informant. So she says, so my probation officer is sitting there and some other guy. I can't remember his name, but I just knew he was part of the DEA. And he come in, I go in, I'm like, this is everybody's nightmare. I already did my time. Only thing I wanted to come home and do is take care of myself, take care of my family, make amends for my mother, redeem myself through, the world, or anybody that I felt like I affected. So they told me, and he says, you know what this is about? And I said, no. He said, well, you threatened a government informant, and that's a federal offense, and it's a violation of your probation. And I said, well, who did I threaten? I don't know what you're talking about. So he go over the story, and I'm sitting there, and I'm telling you, I've heard of people killing themselves not to go back to prison. I went to prison, man. I went to prison. When I say I came home, and all these people were going at my head, all these people I helped, all these people, I'm a mother. I was somebody's daughter. I lost my father, lost my mother. I was somebody's daughter. And here you are. You didn't put in no work. No work. All you did is start writing a man. And this man befriended you, gave you his life rights. And just because you've been a government informant since 2008, you have the right to tell them that I threatened you. They told me that they were gonna arrest me. They were gonna charge me.
But hold on to your seats because this story takes an even wilder turn. Even if Tammy was going to help Big Meech get released, he still needed to give the feds someone else as part of his deal. That's where St. Louis's Diane Gatling, aka Cuffy, comes in. Cuffy and Big Meech had been friends and business partners for over 20 years, going all the way back to the early 90s. According to Cuffy, he was the first person to ever put $1 million cash in Big Meech's pocket. They were so close that Cuffy's daughter Tamara called him Uncle.
Gatling, I'm making this recording in regards to my dad. He's Dion Gatling. Most people know him as Cuffy. But I wanted to make this recording so I can shed light on some facts. My dad was set up by one of his best friends, which is Demetrius Flannery, also known as Big Meech. My dad and Meech have been friends for 30 years plus. I've known Meech my whole life. I look at him like an uncle. Like, this situation has been completely devastating on so many different levels, and there's still so many questions that aren't answered. At this point, I can only shed light on what I know for sure to be facts, and hopefully one day I will have the complete truth. But In 2011, around that time, Meech reached out to my dad in regards to creating a BMF movie. So Meech hooked my dad up with a woman named Tammy Cowen. At the time, Tammy was Meech's power of attorney. Also, she owned the life rights. So my dad was working with Meech, Tammy, T, basically trying to work on a movie. Finally arrested my dad and we received the discovery. He knew exactly who CS1 was, and he told me and my mom that it was Tammy Cowen's. At that time, we really did not want to believe. We wanted to give Meech the benefit of the doubt. It was really, really hard to believe that Meech would set my dad up. It was almost unbelievable. So we were able to like reach out, get a message to Meech, and basically let him know that Tammy was an informant. We later received a message from him saying that it had to be a misunderstanding. Just call her, she'll straighten this out, so on, so on. And at this time, my dad was like, I'm not dumb, I'm not about to call an informant.
And if you thought that tea was hot, wait until you hear it straight from Cuffy himself. He's been telling anyone who'll listen that Big Meech is a snitch for over a decade now. In this leaked jail phone call, Cuffy broke down exactly how Big Meech sold him out to the feds to save himself.
And how did Meech have information on you and give it to Tammy so you could get caught up in it? How did that happen? So that means you got to go back to the movie.
Okay, so let me take him back. So me and Tammy were working on the BMF movie. I originally had the script and paid for the script for the BMF movie, not the show that 50's doing on Stars. But I originally paid for the script for the BMF movie, so we were shopping the movie.
So Tammy was involved at that time, which is CS1. So
Tammy Cowen, CS1, had all Meech's life rights.
Right. And what year was that?
This all the way back in 2010.
Okay. So this.
We proved that there was a legitimate business.
Right.
Legal business.
Right.
So, well, so let's take it back. The original target was the guy by the name of Fidel Suarez. That was a Mexican cartel member out of California. He was the initial target.
Right. Fidel Suarez was the initial target out of Cali.
His name is in the paperwork.
Right, that's that.
Tammy was trying to get Suarez.
The drama doesn't stop there. Whack 100 jumped into the mix and revealed that Big Meech had compromised himself even further by doing business with Tammy and selling his life rights to her.
So what I'm saying is, let's just say that Meech didn't know about, Tammy setting up, was gonna set up Cuffy and the Mexican Suarez or whatever, right?
Right.
But after he's found out, because everybody knows she's an informant now, they're still doing the show with her. They're still dealing with her. She was still on the red carpet for BMF with Lil Meech and all them. Don't you feel like that's dishonorable, bro? Like to still be dealing with her knowing that she got your man banged for 30 years?
Yeah, it's definitely, if it happened like that, it's definitely dishonorable, but you have to look at something else. Like if she owned everything, if she owned the rights to that, like you're not getting her off the red carpet. Like you understand that too? That's her.
So yeah, but you still got the option to not do business with her though, bro.
Yeah, but not doing business with her is giving her your whole life story too, for sure.
Now, Big Meech hasn't said anything about all this yet, but word on the street is he's not about to cancel his collaboration with Rick Ross just because 50 Cent's feelings are hurt. In fact, he supposedly thinks 50 Cent is being a total hypocrite. Here's why. 50's calling him a rat for working with Rick Ross. But 50 himself has been working with Tammy Cowen on the BMF franchise since 2008, right around the time people started saying she was an informant. Make it make sense. People are not letting 50 off the hook either. The comments are wild. wild. They're saying things like, so 50 partnered with an informant. Why isn't that the headline yesterday, today, and tomorrow? And this is not the first time 50 knew about Tammy Cowen's past. He didn't care until Meech worked with Ross. Some are even comparing it to Jay-Z working with Desiree Perez. The tea is scalding hot and everyone's taking sides. Some think 50 Cent is being a total hypocrite, while others believe Big Meech crossed a line by linking up with Rick Ross. What do you think about all this drama? Is 50 Cent just being petty, or did Big Meech really break the code? Drop your thoughts below and stay tuned because you know this drama is far from over. Drama